Sifu Raphael is the founder and host of Coaching Call, Heroes Rising, The Seer Show, and New Tip Daily. He works with individuals, groups, and businesses and helps them find clarity, purpose, and understanding of who they really are in business and personal life. Sifu Raphael has used his skills to develop a variety of multifaceted businesses in the martial arts and fitness industries. He owns and operates a 10,000 square foot martial arts and fitness facility in New York. Jose Escobar is an award-winning, nationally recognized personal development speaker, published author, and sales professional. He leads compelling, high-level communities consisting of entrepreneurs and advanced leaders through his two business models, the Entrepreneur's Bookshelf and the Connected Leaders Academy. He is also the co-host of Heroes Rising.
Jason, thank you so much for joining me and being my co-host today. What? I am super excited, my friend. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for the opportunity. And hey, thanks for matching with the no tie, the new 2024. I like this. I like the no tie. So good to see you.
Yeah, no tie for 2024, but that doesn't mean I don't like wearing ties. I have so many. I love wearing ties, but for the show, we're gonna keep it a little bit more at ease. But I gotta tell you, I am super excited that not only you decided to say yes to me today. So I love the fact that you step in all the time and you bring power, my friend. I love it. And guess what? We have a powerful young lady who's about to be joining us. So let's bring her on. Regina, how are you?
I am doing awesome. I'm absolutely delighted to be here again with you, two fabulous people. We did this before, so it's almost a little bit like a deja vu. And I'm excited to co-share with you and co-inspire our audience. And yeah, let's do it.
Well, guess who is joining us now? Justin. Justin is joining us as well. Nice to meet you, Justin. One of the things that I just want to say is that your beautiful wife is watching, Jason.
That's right. Hi, Jackie.
Thank you. Hi, Jackie. Thank you for watching. We are super excited to have an amazing show for you guys today. I want to go ahead and talk to you about our first guest, which is Regina Huber. Hopefully I said that right. As the CEO of Transform Your Performance, Regina drives bold, value-driven, and heart-centered leadership for herself and others. Her eclectic experience on 5 continents. What? You're incredible. You need 2 more continents, young lady.
No.
It started in Germany and it includes leadership positions at BCG as well as ownership of businesses. You ready for this? Argentina, Brazil, and the US. Her experience has shaped her into multicultural transformational leadership coach, international speaker, and author of Speak Up, Stand Out, and Shine. She also co-authored 3 books and wrote numerous articles for magazines in the US and Africa, and has been featured on multiple media outlets. I got to tell you, Regina, you, my friend, are a powerhouse. Thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you so much for having me on again. It's a true pleasure and absolutely delighted. And also to meet Justin for the first time. And and to be here with everyone watching, whether you're watching live or the replay.
Mm-hmm. So, Regina, we'd love to know what you wanted to share with the audience today. I know you always bring such incredible insight, and I'd love for you to do that now if you can.
Also, thank you for the opportunity. I'm here today to inspire you to find and enjoy greater freedom. So today, as promised, I will share 3 strategies to quickly achieve greater freedom in business and in your entire life. The most stolen item in the world is your freedom. Let that sink in for a moment. The most stolen item is your freedom. But this can only happen when and if you allow it to happen. So what if you could experience ultimate freedom? Maybe close your eyes for a moment and imagine what that could look like. What could it feel like to have ultimate freedom? Take a moment to create a mind movie for yourself about your freedom dream. What does freedom mean to you? What does it have that you currently maybe don't have? How would your life be different if you had that ultimate freedom? And open your eyes. So in my work with my clients, in my personal growth work too, I have come to the conclusion that whatever dream we want to implement, whatever we want to accomplish, and we want to usually achieve this so we can experience greater freedom. Whether it's financial freedom, whether it's the freedom to do the work we want to do, to work with who we want to work, to be with who we want to be, the freedom to live where we want to live, to have a lifestyle we want to have, whatever it is for each of us. It's probably different for everyone. But ultimately, it's always about freedom, or at least it's also about freedom. I'm curious if you would agree. So if you're watching and you would like to share in the chat, feel free to comment on that. And because
Totally agree.
Go ahead.
I said I totally agree.
Okay, great. That's awesome. Yeah. So at least one agrees with me for now. So that's awesome. And because I'm such a big freedom lover and I'm a very free spirit, I often have said that everything I do is actually in the service of freedom. And while I do not have the magic pill for you to jump right onto your freedom carpet, I do have 3 strategies that can help you make bigger strides toward this freedom. And this is exactly what I want to share with you today. These 3 simple yet effective strategies are: first, gain ultimate self-awareness. Second, cultivate a self-empowering mindset and heart set. And third, do it your way. I think we just had a little bit of a pre-conversation about the do it your way between Sifa, Raphael, and Jason before we actually started this show. So it fits really nicely with that too. Now, what do these 3 strategies look like? Let's just start with first the self-awareness, ultimate self-awareness, I call it. Personal freedom starts with a commitment to know who we are. Once upon a time, I pretty much did everything as the universe presented it to me. So I received some beautiful opportunities for sure, and I grabbed them too. And I went with the flow, as we sometimes say. But I also had no idea of my true and unlimited potential. And therefore, I missed out on other opportunities because I didn't really think they were within my reach. They were not for me, right? Or many of them I probably didn't even see. And I definitely also missed out on lots of money. That's what I know now. For example, when I failed to negotiate my salary, just because I didn't think it was an option in the past. And the main reason for that non-negotiation is that I completely underestimated my own value and my possibilities. Later, the road of life got a little bit rockier for me. And while I was used to taking lots of risks, I was shocked at one point that they didn't all work out. And I didn't know what to do because in a way it felt as if the universe had somehow forgotten about me or it didn't want to support me anymore. And at first this was very disconcerting, but it also catapulted me onto a path of self-discovery. The journey to growth for me has not always been pleasant, and I'm sure other people have similar stories. I've had to go through some very rough patches. And I had to learn some tough growth lessons, as I call them. I have a load of those stories, really. And, I'm sure many of you have those too. But see, the experiences that I had helped me build resilience. And most importantly, they helped me find out who I really am. deep down. They literally prepared me for being the coach I am today with my very own and unique approach, which is also very holistic. And it helped me uncover and strengthen my core values. And the two most important ones for me are integrity and freedom. Now, how did I find that out? Well, also because I sometimes had to fight corruption, for example, right? So all of this really allowed me to figure out how resourceful and brilliant I really am, and how resourceful and brilliant we all are in reality. So personal freedom for me starts with a commitment to know who we are. We all have our distinctive uniqueness, as I call it. We have unique brilliance, and we all gathered unique wisdom through our unique experiences, right? And we have shortcomings, some of which we need to address for sure as well. So greater self-awareness allows us to do both. Acknowledge our brilliance and greatness and strengths on the one hand, and then also take our weaknesses and tackle them on the other. But my point is really, self-awareness is the foundation to self-leadership. And that in itself, to me, is freedom. Self-leadership is freedom. And I talked about self-leadership specifically and very extensively in the first episode we did together here. So also I have found that what really keeps me going when the going gets tough, that's when I connect with my spiritual essence. See, we tend to compartmentalize our lives into business, friendships, personal, health, professional, spiritual, etc., right? But life is really a holistic phenomenon. And all these areas are connected. They're not separate, and they're not supposed to be separate. And it's really only one life. So even in business, it helps me, and I'm sure others, to connect to our spiritual essence. Are you able to connect with this essence anytime you want? I'm not talking about religion here. I'm really talking about your spiritual essence. Can you do this every single day consistently? You know, when I pause to do that in like a challenging situation, challenging moment, I immediately hear this voice whispering into my ear, Regina, you got this, right? And that is extremely comforting and empowering at the same time, especially in difficult moments. So whatever you go through, nothing can take away your spiritual essence when you know how to connect with it. Right? Nothing and no one can take this power away from you. And when you connect with it, that's the deepest level of self-awareness. That is ultimate self-awareness. So now let's talk about the next piece. Strategy number 2, a self-empowering mindset and heart set. Now we all know that having a clear vision is a must. But if you don't trust yourself to implement the vision, then it's worthless, and it can be even the source of frustration. Now, you may have heard that over 95% of your behavior is driven by your subconscious. And what's really important here is the word subconscious, right? Vera Birkenbiel, a brilliant and very funny German trainer, said, if you compare your subconscious to the conscious, the subconscious is about 7 miles and the conscious is about 1 inch. So we think we're in control, but we are really not most of the time. Meaning, if we stay on a superficial level with mindset, then we may just stay stuck. We must tackle the subconscious, which also determines our habits. I think we can all agree on that, right? Mm-hmm. And here comes the most important piece for today. The mind is most powerful when it's led by the heart. Mindset and heart set, because they are just better together. When your heart and mind collaborate, when they co-create, when they're aligned in co-creation, you'll be able to use the power of both, because your unique wisdom, your you-specific wisdom is in your heart. This is a wisdom that no one else has but you, because you have collected and gathered it, this unique wisdom over a lifetime, right? Through your unique experiences. So that's why also when we are faced with a very tough decision, people usually say, listen to your heart, right? Because it has the wisdom to help you make the decision that is right for you. Nobody else but you. There's a lot more to this, and we don't have a lot of time today, but one thing I do want to add for the topic of heart set, it's in the heart where you can find courage. Your fear is in your mind, your courage is in your heart. My third strategy is do it your way. So stop competing with others. You've heard it before. Focus on your own path instead. There are many, many questions you could ask yourself in this context, but I think the most important question to ask yourself is, what do I really want? Who am I designed to be? The self-awareness strategy we talked about earlier will help you in this respect, because when you're fully aware of your distinctive uniqueness, your unique brilliance and genius, then that, of course, helps you. It helps you embody your brilliance, helps you own it. And that's when competition becomes irrelevant. Right? So it's simple, isn't it? But simple isn't always easy, because we tend to overcomplicate. And so we get stuck, or we stay stuck, and we feel like we don't have a choice. Like we cannot do it our way. Like we don't have the freedom to do it our way. But that's a lie we have been told, or we have told ourselves even sometimes, right? So freedom is a choice, and I'm just getting to the end with my conclusion here. So it's really, I really want to say it's a choice, even in our current world, where those of us who follow what's really going on in the world, who know that some of us want to control us even more than they have so far, it may seem that the walls are closing in on us humans. You know, this is just another reason why I chose this topic for today. Don't ever let yourself be deprived of your freedom and your sovereignty, especially this year, which I promise you will bring some major expected and unexpected challenges, if you know what I mean, right? So I said at the beginning, the most stolen item in the world is freedom, but only when and if you allow it to be stolen. So don't. Claim it with all your being instead.
I love it.
3 strategies.
I love it. I love the heart and mind connection, because that truly helps people make better decisions when people are connected. But some people are not.
No, I know.
It's a shame.
Yes, but there are, it's a practice. It's a practice. And I have actually published some YouTube videos that can maybe help people as well.
Great. Thank you, Regina. That was incredible. You know, when we consider what you talked about, my biggest takeaway is what you want to do with your life, and how you allow yourself to take action before you take the actions of others. Other people want to put those ideas in your head, but you doing what you need to do because it's your life. Now, that's huge.
Yeah, that's why you have to ask yourself, what do I really want?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, I love that. I love that, Regina. Thank you so much. And, you know, Sifu, as you were talking about that, I can't help but think how often we look at social media on a daily basis, right? And we see so many coaches giving us advice and talking with us. And it's very easy to think that we're supposed to do this, or we have to do that. You know, specifically with speaking and writing and having a podcast, you know, there's nothing that you have to do, but like Regina said, it's having that freedom to choose. What do you want to do? What are your goals? I mean, here we are at the beginning of 2024, and a lot of people are talking about their goals and their word of the year and their resolutions. And I can't wait to hear Justin talk about a little bit of fitness here in just a bit. But yeah, that whole freedom concept of choosing what it is that we want and which direction we want to go, and living our life and growing into the best version of ourselves, rather than trying to be somebody else, trying to, you know, emulate someone else just because that's what we think that we're supposed to do. Well, I want to take a minute to introduce our host and my good friend, Mr. Sifu Raphael, who is the founder of 5, not just one. He can't do just one. He's got to do 5 unique shows. He's a fitness and martial arts professional, solutions expert, executive coach, and head instructor at Max Martial Arts and Fitness in New York. Sifu Raphael's purpose is to unite like-minded individuals to create new possibilities and impact the world we live in. Sifu Raphael is one of the creators of the Mosaic experiences, where each person explores deeper into themselves with extraordinary experiences. The next Mosaic experience is happening on February 10th in New York. And Sifu, I am just so excited. You know, every time I get a chance to hear you, right? You have such a soft voice, but such a powerful message, right? You guys ever notice that? It's such a soft voice, but a very powerful message. So I'd love to turn it over to you and hear what you'd like to talk about today.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you, my friend. And by the way, where do I send a check for that nice compliment? So, you know, when Regina said she wanted to talk about strategies to create a better 2024, I was on board. And for me, it's finding freedom through communication. So imagine you're sleeping and the alarm goes off. A thought goes right into your head. And that thought is either, I got to get up and do what I needed to do, or I got to hit that snooze button because I'm not done sleeping. And so that communication is the first thing that happens to us every day. Can I tell you, usually, I don't know why I put an alarm on, because usually I'm up way, like, let me see, yesterday I was up an hour and a half before I even put an alarm on. I was just, my eyes opened up and boom, I said, whoa, I got to get out of bed. I got things to do. And the first thing I always do, I do communicate with myself. But I do pray. I communicate with God, and I thank him for the gifts he's bestowed on me, for the ability for me to move my hands, for the ability for me to work out every day, for the ability for me to help other people, for me to be there for someone, to guide them, to help them, to let them see their future, because so many people can't see their own future. This is why we need a coach. I have a coach. I actually have mentors too. And without them, sometimes I may be lost. I have a question, and sometimes they may not answer it directly, but it's that communication back and forth that we have this discussion, and all of a sudden the answer comes. They may not have even told me the answer, but they take me through a process. And this is why coaching to me is number one. So think about finding freedom through your communication every day. Every day we wake up and we have that internal communication. What are we going to do? Now, if you planned ahead, the night before, you looked at what your day tomorrow is going to look like. So that's your evening routine. What do you do in the evening? What do you do in the morning? So that communication within yourself, it's clear. How many people wake up in a fog? Oh, I need coffee. Oh, that's all I need, coffee. And all of a sudden, they can't do anything until they've had coffee or something else. Or they wake up grumpy, or they wake up on the wrong side of the bed. Listen, this is why I have a really good mattress. I spend a lot of money on my mattress, so there is no wrong side of the bed. I always wake up on the right side. Why? Because I choose to. So the first communication I have with myself is with myself. How am I feeling? How can I impact the world? And I do ask for guidance. I ask for guidance before I go to sleep, and I say, God, please guide me and show me ways that I can help more of my brothers and sisters so I can be a guiding light to them. And don't forget, I also need a guiding light. So please let me have people in my life that will always guide me and help me structure my life in a way that I can make myself proud, because I need to make myself proud first and make my family proud. And anybody else who wants to be proud of me, thank you for even noticing me. So it's the little communications that we have with ourselves. that's how we find freedom, because we have to give ourselves permission to live a life of abundance, a life of wealth, a life of wisdom. Without any of those things, we're just, we are just living a life where it's it's the same. It's Groundhog Day every day. Who wants that? I know Jason does not live that. Let me tell you, this guy just lost weight, but actually I don't think he lost it, because he knows where it went and he's never going to go looking for it again. So that's the difference, how we communicate. When you lose weight, did you lose weight because guess what? You're going to find it again. You don't want to lose the weight. You want to get rid of it. First, it starts here, that communication that we start in our mind. How must I act? How must I do? So hitting the snooze button once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. I know people who I say, hey, how come you didn't come? Oh, that I kept hitting my snooze button. I said, really? I said, I don't have a snooze button. They're like, you don't? I said, of course I do. I just don't use it. You use yours too much. So how do we understand that tomorrow morning is going to be Saturday? A lot of people say, well, it's my day off. Is it? Is it? Does that mean you're not going to live tomorrow? Is that what you're telling me? You're not going to live tomorrow? I hope not. I hope that tomorrow is an amazing and beautiful day, that you will always look for tomorrow. What is your tomorrow? Whether it's a Monday, Sunday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, it doesn't matter. It's that inner dialogue that we have with ourselves. But let's not forget, we start with us, but then we have to impact others. So it's the communication we have with our family, with our friends, with our clients, our customers. If we work for someone, our boss. Right? As an entrepreneur, I don't work for one person. I work for thousands of people. I don't work for one. And anybody who's an entrepreneur, you know that. Every customer is your boss, because you need to help them, guide them, instruct them, give them something that they're looking for. Otherwise, they won't be your client anymore. They won't be your boss anymore. They will fire you. You don't want to be fired. You want to stay. You want to be with those people. You want to impact lives. And this is why every day when I wake up in the morning, I'm asking the Lord, would you please guide me and help me to inspire others, to help them become great, to help them find even you. And if you're not religious, that's cool, but you need to find that peace inside of you. And Regina talked about it, the heart and mind, right? You need to connect those two. When you connect, my gosh, the world is a beautiful place. And I don't care if you think it's terrible. You blame the government, you blame other people. Every time you point the finger, man, you're living a life. It's a closed-minded life when you blame others. Take responsibility. This is finding your freedom through communicating with yourself. Don't blame other people. You gain 30 pounds, you're going to blame a drive-through? No, you chose to drive through. You're going to choose what you want in life. You can't blame other people for your choices. Yes, there are people in this world who want to see you down, who want you to be down on your luck, in your health and everything else, because maybe that's how they're wired. That doesn't mean you have to listen to them. Listen to you. The first things you should say when you're finding freedom through your communication is tell yourself how much you love you. I love me. I need you to love you. You are beautiful. Stay that way. Remember, we have one life, as far as I know anyway. We have one life, right? And it's the actions that we take every single day that can inspire us to live a better life, to live a life of abundance. Don't look at somebody else and go, man, I wish I had what they had. No, you don't. No, you don't. So maybe they have a nice car. Who cares? That nice car, maybe they paid a price. Maybe they were nasty. Maybe they hurt people to get that car. Is that you? No. Maybe they live in a beautiful house, a mansion. Maybe you see them in a yacht and you want what they have. Meanwhile, if you live a life of abundance in your heart, they're going to want what you have. And remember, what you have is special. So hold on to it. Keep it strong. Keep it to you. At this point, I want to tell you guys about an incredible human being. Not only did he just finish a wrestling match, he came down, he got rid of weight. He is a fire. This is why his name is Jason Flame. He is the owner of Moore Park Karate and Krav Maga in Moore Park, California. He is a 7th degree black belt. I got to tell you, Jason, you are not a 7th degree, my friend. You're a millionth degree in my eyes. You are an exceptional human being. You hold black belts in Krav Maga, Kitsugu, Jiu-Jitsu, and Combat Hapkido. He has served as a martial arts business consultant since 2010, and I think that's when we met, my friend. Jason Flame. And a lot of people call him Master Flame because he is a master. He did pursue his childhood dream of becoming a professional wrestler at the age of 38 and actively wrestled for Millennium Pro Wrestling from 2013 to 2019. But in December, he had a match and he was victorious. He's a Triple Crown champion and the first ever MPW Unified Champion. Jason is an active member of his community and serves on the board of directors for several local organizations and community events. Recently, Jason and his beautiful wife, Jackie, have become partners in Country Harvest Restaurant and Coach's Old Ice Cream Parlor. Jason also hosts Master Motivation Podcast. It's a great show. He's had amazing people on it. And he's an active community member. He contributes and attributes the success of his business to understanding the importance of giving back to his community. Jason, my friend, stage is yours.
Thank you so much. And I'm looking forward to introducing Justin in just a minute. Excited to hear him talk as well. And I'm excited to have Regina on the Master Motivation Podcast in just a few weeks. But so Sifu, thank you for that introduction and thank you for having me on the show. I always feel honored to be on the show with everybody because if you've noticed me looking down, it's because I'm writing notes and I've already taken some notes for my own personal growth today. So I hope that everybody that is watching this now, whether you're watching it live or you're watching it on the replay, take some notes and take some action. But Sifu, we must have communicated on a different level because you were talking about a lot of things that I already had on my mind for talking about today. And here's the deal. Just yesterday, it was probably 2:30 in the afternoon. And I got a call from a friend and he said, what are you doing? And I said, well, I'm heading home for the day. I'm done for the day. I said, I put in my couple hours and the response was kind of like, well, must be nice to only work 2 hours a day. And I was like, man, if I only work 2 hours a day, that would be something. Right. But that comment stuck with me. Right. And so as I was listening to Regina talk about freedom, and as I saw the thoughts coming through about, what our focus was for today, I started also thinking, my wife and I do own several businesses and involved in quite a few activities, events, organizations here in our community. And I also get the question from some people, how do you do so much? I mean, we all only have 24 hours in a day. So how are you able to keep up with all of this? How are you able to do that? And so in thinking about freedom and time, I wrote down 5 things very quickly, and I said, how do I do this? Well, number one, I have a morning routine, which Sifu talked about just a bit. Number 2, I time block out my day to do what I need to do when I need to get it done. Number 3, I keep a very strict calendar of a very busy but strict calendar on when I need to be where. Number 4, I am the master of checklists. I have checklists for my checklists. I love having something to check off each and every day. And it just helps me to stay on track. And number 5, talking about our evening routines. So, I want to give a shout out to Jose Escobar too, the leader of Connected Leaders Academy, who really has a great program on the morning and evening routines. And this is stuck with me a lot. So I want to just talk about each one of those really quickly, so I can give you an idea of how you might be able to create more freedom in your day, or freedom in your ability to do some of the things that you want to do and not feel, a slave to your work. I mean, I love what I do. When Sifu was talking about waking up in the morning and hitting the snooze button, I'm guilty. Sometimes I do, but I have to say that I do wake up once my eyes do open. I do wake up excited for every day because I absolutely love what I do. I love teaching martial arts. I love being involved in our community. I love professional wrestling. I love spending time with my family. And again, so how do I make all of these things happen? And how do I have a little bit more freedom in my time and be able to get to go home sometimes at 2:00? Let's not forget that sometimes I go home at 10 or 11 o'clock in the evening too. But, let's start with my morning routine, right? As Sifu talked about, one of the first things I do is wake up, and I really just try to list in my head the things that I'm grateful for, and really focus on that abundance, because it is very easy to wake up and focus on your problems and focus on your challenges and focus on all the things that you missed. But when you really start focusing on, I get to go to the gym today, I get to spend some time with my wife today, I get to do this, it really changes the mindset. And so that's really, really important for me. Another thing I do right away, morning routine, is I get up and I drink 16 ounces of water. Talk about my health journey and some habits that I've changed. That's something that I believe it or not, I actually look forward to it, because I know how it's going to make me feel for the rest of the day when I'm drinking almost a gallon of water every single day. Then I'll sit down and I'll have my first fueling, or my first meal, and I'll sit and I'll read. And I have 2 daily readers that I work in. The Maxwell Daily Reader is one of my favorites for leadership. And then I also have a Catholic devotion daily reader that I've just started in the last month. And, talking about strengthening my faith and becoming closer to God, and just understanding more. I have 2 people that I actually send those. I screenshot those and send them to friends of mine. So Danny Cleary, who is, I would consider my faith coach, or my someone that helps me to strengthen my faith, and someone I talk to a lot about it. He's a youth minister at our church. And so I send him the morning devotion, and we just kind of chat about it a little bit. And then Kevin Kowalczyk, a really good friend of mine, we focus on our leadership. And so I think that that's kind of helpful too, is having some accountability partners, that it's not just about me getting it done. It's about me getting it done, sharing it with someone else, and being able to have a conversation. And sometimes that conversation just kind of carries into my gym workouts. And so, once I finish my reading, I finish my meal, I have my grooming routine, of course, stretching, getting ready. And then really the first task of the day that I have prioritized for some time now is getting to the gym. Because I know for me, if I don't get to the gym first, and I put it in the middle of the day or put it at the end of the day, it's going to be a lot harder for me to get there. So getting to the gym is a huge priority for me. And so I just build this habit. It's definitely not easy. Sometimes I feel a little stressed about getting just those things done before I leave. And of course, getting my social media done before I hit my workout. It's sometimes hard, but I plan my day accordingly to that. And so talking about number 2 and just kind of time blocking. So I know how much time I have for my morning routine. It could be anywhere from 45 minutes to an hour that I spend doing all of those things, getting ready for the day. And then I'll spend about 2 hours at the gym. And for some of you, that sounds like a little overkill and a lot, but you know, my gym is my therapy too. So I like to be in the gym with the headphones on, listening to music or listening to a really good podcast, listening to something that's motivational or uplifting. And of course, moving my body and getting a great workout. I also, you know, while I'm in the gym, multitask a little bit. I'm answering emails, responding to messages, but I time block that time out, you know, to get to the gym. After the gym, I know that my next meal is coming up. So planning out all my meals throughout the day to make sure that I stay on track. And I've got, you know, anywhere from, you know, 30 minutes to an hour to not just have my meal, but to catch up with anything that I've missed so far. And then I go into the office and I go into my school and I spend some time working on, you know, the back end of stuff. You know, fortunately for me, I've been able to build a team that has helped me, that can teach the day-to-day classes, that can run the school. We also have teams at our other businesses where I'm not involved in the day-to-day operations, but the back end stuff, you know, I give myself at least, you know, 1 to 2, sometimes 3 hours that I've got to make my phone calls. I've got to, you know, take care of paperwork. I've got to meet with staff, you know, important staff members that have to be done. And then usually right after that, it's going to be community events, right? Whether I'm going to a Chamber of Commerce mixer or we're going to do a ribbon cutting for a new business, I save the next couple hours for that. And then after that, it's family time. It's either having dinner with my wife or watching a movie. We love watching movies, and that's kind of our fun pastime together. But making that a priority to make that time there. Of course, you know, when I talk about time blocking, you know, there's always things that come up. You know, every day is going to be a little bit different. Some things are going to change and flex a little bit. But the point is to give myself a little bit better flexibility and freedom. I kind of know which part of the day is set for what activity or what responsibility I have. The third thing is calendar, right? I mean, I spend a good portion of the last week or so of 2023, I spent calendaring out everything for our business. You know, my wife and I talk about what kind of vacations do we want to take? What things do we want to put on the calendar for family time? What do we have coming up for the different organizations? I mean, our calendar is packed, but you know, some people don't. I mean, I just don't know how you could not live a productive and successful life and not have things planned in advance. It's really hard. You know, that one thing that's really hard for me is that if an event pops up out of nowhere, it's like, oh man, how are we going to make the time to make this happen? How are we going to make time to be at that event? But, you know, planning that calendar out in advance, something that I do with my team and my staff to make sure that we're providing our students with a great experience. So we want to have a good calendar. Checklist. I mean, number 4, checklist. I'm looking at a checklist right now. I mean, when I get ready to talk, you know, I'm writing 1 to 5, 1 to 10. I've got a little hit list, and I do this part of my morning routine. You know, okay, what is on the agenda for today, and then when I get to the end of the day, part of my evening routine will be what did I really accomplish, and what maybe did I miss that needs to be hit right away, and I start prioritizing, you know, each one of those things. I have a list of, you know, month-end tasks for the business. I have a list of, you know, goals that I've set for the year. And then I want to make sure that I'm tracking that progress, right? And seeing where I'm at, because each item on the checklist may have 3, 4, 5 steps to it before I can really check it off the list. And again, number 5, having that evening routine of reflection. I have a second reading. I'm working on a book called Sticking Points, which is an awesome book, by the way, learning how to deal with the 5 generations within your workplace potentially, and understanding, right? You know, because it's easily to blame the millennials for everything, right? I mean, that's what we all do. But looking at all the different generations and understanding. And you know, funny enough, it was my daughter that bought me this book because she would always call me a boomer. And I said, I'm not a boomer, by the way. But I guess that's just a term that they use. But she bought this book, and it was so funny because just the other night I screenshot a page and sent it to her. And I said, this is what you're always telling me. Because it was me understanding how sometimes a person of her age, she's 21, feel that adults are yelling at her. And I'm like, I'm not yelling at you. I didn't raise my voice. I'm not yelling at you. But in her mind, what she hears is I'm yelling at her. And whether that's a critique or that's a redirection or whatever it might be, I sent her the page, and it was a good learning experience. So I've enjoyed that book. You guys got to check it out. Sticking Points. I can't remember the author right now, but really good book. So that's part of my evening routine. Also part of my evening routine is, of course, the nightly grooming, getting ready for bed, and just the reflection. So I jotted down a couple other things that might help you get a little bit more freedom with using these 5 steps is, being consistent and having systems, work to build a team, having some kind of accountability system, and regularly evaluating your progress, whether that's daily, weekly, monthly, at the end of the year. Sit down. You've got to have some kind of regular evaluation process. Otherwise, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. And I have definitely been there in many cases of my life. So, writing all these things down has definitely helped me. And Sifu, you said something about days off. I don't believe in days off. And Justin, you can talk about this a little bit too. I don't believe in days off of the gym. I don't believe in days off of work, because the only reason I would want a day off is if I don't want to have the habits that I have. Are there days that are lighter than others? Yes. Are there days where I might not do a certain action? Yes. But that day off, I think sometimes gives us the excuse, just like what people would call a cheat day. I don't believe in cheat days anymore, right? Like, because why would I cheat myself in my diet, my nutrition, if I'm working towards a goal, right? So I just found that was really important that you talked about that. And I just want to remind everybody something that I remind myself is that my passion is what drives me. My passion of what I do each and every day is what drives me. I absolutely love what I do, and it helps give me that freedom to never feel like I have to go to work. I never have to go to work, ever. I get to go to work because I love what I do. And my focus on serving others is so gratifying and just so rewarding that it gives me the inspiration and the motivation to get after it each and every day. So I hope that helps a little bit.
Oh my gosh.
If there are any questions or anything you want to add to that, I would love to hear your thoughts.
I have a comment. So imagine you say, well, Saturday's cheat day. And then you're there eating all this crazy food. And then your wife passes by with another guy. And she goes, you said it's cheat day. Would that work?
Called a hall pass.
No. Right.
Yeah.
Don't cheat yourself or anybody else.
Yeah. The cheat days, every time I allow myself that opportunity to have a quote cheat day, all I have to do is remind myself of how terrible I feel the next day, how guilty I feel the next day, how when I look in the mirror, I feel ashamed. I mean, listen, there's nothing. I love Reese's peanut butter cups. They're my favorite. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with having one once in a while. But when I start eating 5 or 6 or eating them every day, that's a different story. But anyway. Well, I want to introduce Justin because I want to hear all about what he has to say. And Justin is a drug-free natural bodybuilder turned competitor. He's obsessed with everything fitness and personal development. I love this. His main objective is to make people bulletproof by strengthening their bodies as well as their minds, equipping them with mental software they need to overcome any and all challenges, both physical and psychological. Justin, it's great to meet you, and thanks for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
We'd love to hear what you want to share with us today, Justin.
Yeah, so I didn't come prepared with any monologue or any of that.
No, we don't need monologue. We need you.
Okay. I mean, I do best off of a topic. So if you want to suggest a topic that I talk about in any relation to fitness or personal development, I can go off on that topic.
So,
Apart
for
from that,
example, Jason he didn't lose weight. He got rid of his weight because it's not coming back. So let's talk about when somebody comes to you and they say, hey, you know what? I need to lose some weight. How do I accomplish that? How do you help them?
Yeah. So, the first part when you say Jason didn't lose weight, he got rid of it. Well, that's all dependent on Jason if he actually is going to keep that. It doesn't really, and whatever context you place it, and, it's physiologically, we have the fat cells there. We can't do anything about that, and so you make them smaller or you make them bigger. And he obviously shrunk them and lost a lot of the fat that he had on his body previously, but it doesn't mean he can't gain it back. He's got to have, put his due diligence in and keep up on his diet activity and keep up on his on the things that make him better, which is keeping himself a priority, which with regards to the fitness, the nutrition, the sleep, the stress management, etc. So, I mean, losing weight, if somebody comes to me and they want to lose weight, that's fine, but I know that's not the first goal. Goal of mine is to either become more confident, have a heightened self-esteem. Maybe they want to look better because they want to find a mate. I mean, there's so many different underlying factors than just losing weight. But that's what people like to say in the beginning to initiate the conversation and to initiate the action that is, or the process that is losing weight. And so, I mean, somebody that comes to me and it's all subjective here. I don't treat anybody with a blanket process or a template of sorts. Everybody has a little bit different. I mean, we all operate fairly the same, but somebody's hangups might be different than someone else's. So that's what I have to hone in on, because those hangups or those misbehaviors or those bad habits or those vices, that's what's going to wreck their process. Those are going to be the things that are going to deter them. And inevitably, they will never reach their goal, and they'll just keep spinning their wheels. So that's when I talk about, I have to bring in mindset to the equation. I have to bring in disciplines, and I have to bring in structure and ordinance to their life, because that's the reason why they're out of shape to begin with. It wasn't because they chose to just stuff their face every day and accrue the negative ramifications that come from it, or that came from it rather. It's deeper than that. It's much deeper than just, I want to lose weight, I want to gain muscle, I want to whatever, fill in the blank. So I have to, if I am doing my due diligence as a trainer, then I have to uncover what that is. I have to make sure that I'm hitting all the I's and crossing all the T's. I mean, if I don't, then I really leave a lot of potential on the table. Excuse me, somebody keeps calling me. So I have to make sure that those things are all, that one, we reveal them, even if it's uncomfortable to reveal for that person. And then two, that we tackle them. So it's just not just doing fitness or giving them a nutrition follow. I mean, it's all very subjective, and it's really all dependent on the person, their trials, the vices that they hold on to, what's keeping them from embarking on this journey on their own accord. Why do they need someone like me in the first place? So there are many layers to this. I would just add many layers and just many questions to ask.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, you're reminding me of the show The Biggest Loser, because they woke up, they had somebody there to help them with their nutrition. They had somebody constantly telling them time to work out. That's not real life. And if we were to follow any of those people now, say 10 years they did the show or whatnot, where would their fitness be? Where would their mindset? And you're talking about mindset, and I love that, because in like somebody comes to me and they want to lose weight, I first have to ask them what their routines are, because routines, habits, the way we function every day, I think, is what we have to tackle in order for somebody to lose weight, because they may want to do it because there's a wedding or coming up or an activity coming up, but then what happens after that activity? So that's I'm glad you brought that up.
Right.
Well, I want to
Happens is, oh, go ahead, Jason. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to jump in and say, you know, I've been on a weight loss journey many times in my life, and I've been an athlete almost my entire life. And it really does come down to that mindset. You know, you have to make the choice and why you want to lose it. You know, if losing it just to have a good picture or just for an end goal, it's going to be short-lived, right? But if it's, I want to feel healthier, right? I want to move more easily. You know, those things tend to stick for people that are losing weight or people that want to be healthier longer than a good picture or for you know, if you were to only work out and train for a competition to get to a certain point, well, what happens after the competition, right? So when you look at it as a life choice and a life journey, that mindset really, really changes.
Right. I also just wanted to quickly piggyback on the lose weight, though, if you let me for a second, because, you know, when we talk about mindset, and you just mentioned mindset again, Jason, is, you know, do you lose weight or do you release weight? Right? Because is it really a loss? if we really go to the subconscious level that I talked about earlier, then, you know, and I know Sifu said before, it's about, you know, about getting rid of it. So I think also that already changes the perspective a little bit. And I know, Justin, you were talking about the why a lot, right? Why do people want to actually look different or feel different, right? I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah, there definitely has to be an objective in mind. Sometimes to reach that objective, there has to be a consequence at play. And when I say consequence, I mean, most of the times that people get to this level of heightened body weight, or rather, you know, let's say better than optimal or suboptimal biomarkers, it's because they've let themselves go, and it's because they don't prioritize themselves anymore. They don't act in ways that are serving to them. And this is the reason, this is the end result, and it shows up in the physical representation. And that's just further going to breed dysfunction in multiple avenues, whether it comes down to competency, confidence levels, esteem, etc. But, you know, at the end of the day, sometimes people don't, even if they have this objective that they want to meet, they don't have the willpower to meet that objective, because there's nothing of consequential nature that's the impetus to reach that objective. And it's the reason why they've stayed in idle for such a long time and not done anything about it. So sometimes there needs to be a consequence attached. Like, let's say the consequence is your doctor tells you, hey, if you don't lose weight, you're going to become diabetic, or if you don't lose weight, you're going to die. I'm very, very, but I'm going to the, you know, the worst consequence that you could accrue, which would be death. But a lot of times people don't understand that that's the road that they're on. I mean, we're all on the road to death, but are you wanting to be on the shortcut? And if you're okay with that, then okay, eat yourself into oblivion and don't exercise, and then wind up dead. And so, I mean, like I say, sometimes this consequence needs to be in the forefront for people to get it through their skull that they're treating their body wrong, that they're not putting the right foods in, that they're just worsening their situation, and they're just levying it on scapegoats. Well, the reason why I eat this way is because I'm dealing with trauma from the past, or the reason why I eat this way is because or the reason why I eat this way is because somebody made fun of me. It's like these are not excuses to treat yourself worse. You're disrespecting yourself. That's the form. That's self-hatred. In fact, I mean, self-love would be the opposite. It would be choosing to move and treat your body right through the means of exercise, resistance training, or even swimming or kayaking or rock you enjoy physically, that gets your body moving and helps it to become more stronger and resilient. And then on top of that, putting nutritious foods in your body that help to optimize your physiology and your neural circuitry. And all these things are running in tandem with each other. And people want to compartmentalize them and act like they don't, like there's no alignment there. And so that's in part my job as not only a trainer, mindset professional, and a mindset coach, is to help people to understand where they're screwing up and where they need to be better in.
Yeah, absolutely, Jason. I mean, it's profound when we think of it that way. You've made a choice to become a natural bodybuilder, and the community of bodybuilding, most people are not natural, right? And you're a minority when it comes to the bodybuilding world, right? Because your arms are not bigger than your head. You're natural, which is what I know Jason was excited to have you speak on. So I know we're wrapping this up, but what made you decide that natural, which I believe in 100% as well, because if you start putting chemicals in your body that are going to enhance your physicality, those chemicals eventually are going to hurt you. You're going to be on dialysis and you're going to have all these problems and you're going to die young. So to put chemicals in your body to look good for a short time, or to do it naturally and live a long life. So when I think of working out like you, I'm thinking, not can I, but I will be doing this same workout at 90, at 100. By the way, I want to invite you guys to my 100th birthday party. So just remember, the invitations are coming. So Jason, I'm sorry, Justin, what made you decide that natural was your way?
So before I even started lifting weights, I went all throughout high school, and believe this or not, went all throughout high school without drinking or smoking. I've never been drunk, never been high, never been on any substance or anything of any sort, except for obviously caffeine, obviously. Yeah. Got to have my coffee and workout. Apart from that, yeah, exactly. Amen. But apart from that, I've never been intoxicated. I've never been, high of any sorts or anything. So that was kind of the thing that was unique with me amongst my cohort of friends. And I wanted to, nothing changed in my mind when I went into bodybuilding. It was more, now it's become something of a streak. I've never done drugs. I never drank. I want to continue this streak. So if I then alter my ways and go into, pharmacological substances or synthetic versions of testosterone, I'm a druggie now. I'm a druggie. And however you want to, frame it, when bodybuilders take those drugs, they're druggies in my book. It's no different than if you're high on meth, or if the physical representation looks more healthy. It doesn't mean that you're absolved from the actual injection or the ingestion of those substances that made you better. Apart from that, the drugs are the thing that made you who you are. You didn't do that. And I've always wanted to do stuff on my own accord. Whatever I can do is what I can do, and that's it. And so I want to take it to the ends of the earth in terms of the world that I can either meet or surpass with my own psychological, physiological, and physical strengths. And if I can't do it on that, then I can't do it. It can't be done. And I got to be okay with that. And I think that, the entire indoctrination or rather, I guess, admittance of drugs in the industry, big, horrific situation. I don't think that it ever should have been introduced. I don't think that we should at any level have drugs anywhere in sports, athlete. I don't care if it's nowhere, Olympics, strongman, nowhere. It should be nowhere because it's fake. It's a delusional understanding of what that person can do. And that person is actually skewed in what they do and what they can create because of what they put in their body for so long that they think it's like the training that they've done. And they lose sight of the drugs and what magical effects the drugs can have on their body and their strength levels. And I just, at the end of the day, I will hang my hat on this one statement. If you didn't do it natural, you didn't do it. It didn't happen.
You're using your God-given talent.
Yeah,
Justin, isn't it also that bodybuilders oftentimes are said to have actually shorter lives because of all these drugs, if I'm informed?
Yeah, because what the main substance that bodybuilders will use are testosterone, and then there are derivatives of testosterone, and those can come in the form of oral or injection. But what happens is testosterone is like the foundational component that they used, and then everything else is kind of layered on top of that, right? But most bodybuilders are going to use at least introductory testosterone. And what testosterone does in and of itself is it increases red blood cell count. And if you increase the count, you get a more viscous blood flowing through the arteries. Well, that can lead to, that's obviously a thickening of the blood, and that's going to lead to heart attacks, strokes, etc. Not to mention that growth hormone, which is on the rise nowadays, is not prejudiced in terms of what tissue it grows. It grows all tissues. It grows organ tissues. It grows everything. And so when you do that, you expand those tissues, of those organs. That's not necessarily a good thing. And so you're hypertrophying everything in the body through growth hormone. And then the testosterone, like what I just mentioned with the testosterone, that's obviously not a good play for most people. Now, when you get down to the genotype of that person, it's all kind of subjective. Some people were favorably to drugs and they never have any kind of, well, at least yet, right? They haven't had any negative ramifications yet. But we really haven't had steroids in the industry for an entire person's lifespan. We don't even know we haven't studied it long enough to know the real bad ramifications of the steroids, because they've only been prevalent since really Arnold's day, which is like around the 70s. And that was through the use of Dianabol, and those were orals. Now we have guys that are basically walking pharmacies. And I just look, without getting without sounding too prejudiced towards this, it's just the disdain that I have on my end, and it's just my opinion in how the sport should be treated or how the endeavor should be treated. It doesn't matter if it's baseball, soccer, running, bicycling, or bodybuilding. Whatever you can do is whatever you can do naturally, and that should be it. And you should be good with that.
Beautifully said. By the way, my son is also a natural bodybuilder. He's 22 and he's at the gym every day. And
I love it.
I said, what made you do that? He goes, you, Dad. I'm like, okay, cool. So he definitely is going the natural route. He's into nutrition. He's working at looking to buy a nutritional facility himself. At the age of 22, nice. He's already in the works of buying it. So probably in 6 months, he'll own it. So I'm proud of him. But I got to tell you, I mean, thank you for coming and inspiring people and letting us know that when we use our body as it was meant to be used, God-given talent, that's huge. What I'd like to do right now is just take a quick second and give Jose a quick shout out and thank. I know he's out at an event. He's doing some great things, but let's take a quick look at this.
Hi, my name is Jose Escobar, and I'm the founder and CEO of the Connected Leaders Academy. We're a growing tribe, a community of entrepreneurs all over the world, globally, all across the country, high performers, titans of industry. If you're an entrepreneur and you're looking to grow personally and professionally, scale your influence, develop your skill sets, move the needle in your business, more clients, more money, more profit, the bottom line, and of course, grow your circle and your network like never before, this is where you want to be. Join the Connected Leaders Academy today. We are scaling massively. We want to welcome you in. Check me out. on Instagram and on Facebook, the @ JASCO25. We look forward to having you join us. Take care.
And that's the co-host. But today, an incredible human being just stepped in and said, I'm in. So thank you, Jason, for always coming in, stepping up. And man, you bring the flame for sure.
Thanks for having me. And guys, it was great meeting you, Justin, and Regina, seeing you again. I learned a lot from both of you and very inspirational.
Absolutely.
Thank you, brother.
Everybody have yourself an
Thanks for having me
exceptional
again,
day.
and great to meet you, Justin, too.
Yeah.
You too,
definitely.
Regina.
All right, guys, have fun, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. Everybody take care.
Bye, guys.
See ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.